Hey guys, I'm Voylin and I finally made my decision on whether or not I'll take the JLPT N2 next December or not. But first, why am I going for the JLPT N2? Last December I passed the JLPT N3 and I felt quite happy that I passed, but I also felt quite disappointed with my scores. But it was only normal that my scores will be quite low, because since I moved to Japan, that's over 3 years ago now, I actually slowly stopped studying Japanese as I felt that I could have basic conversations. My Japanese was good enough. But now that I became a shufu, a stay-at-home dad, I need to be able to earn an income, like a normal income, whilst taking care of the housework and taking care of my kids. If this is not possible, however, then after the year, around next year, I'll need to get a normal job again here in Japan. But because I really don't want to go back to English teaching jobs, I will really need my Japanese to be better, and I will really need to be able to pass the JLPT N2. Like, you need a JLPT N2 certificate for kind of a lot of jobs here in Japan if you don't want to go to the English ones. Some of the IT companies that I would want to enter, by example, require an N2, so yeah. My Japanese studying history it's quite a long one. It's quite long with a couple of ups, but especially with a lot of downs. I'll probably make a more detailed video later on how I studied Japanese. But here's a quick summary of how it went. So I started studying Japanese in February 2016. I started studying on my first trip here in Japan. I found Japanese to be kind of an interesting language. In my first year of studying Japanese, I studied for around 3 to 5 hours a day. Kind of a lot, and this was also whilst doing a full-time job. Multiple full-time jobs. Second year I was still going strong with minimum 2 hours a day, with sometimes even 8 hours a day on my off days. In my second year of studying Japanese, I also started going to a Japanese language school. But the level was quite low. Yeah, the level was quite a lot lower than my level at the time. But I was living in the countryside of Belgium, so I was already kind of glad that there even was a Japanese school. It was not like anything like a full-time school, it was only one evening a week, so also not that many hours. But it was still kind of nice to be surrounded by people having the same goal, learning Japanese. In my third year of studying Japanese, I went to the second year of that Japanese school. Again, my level was way too high, but I still enjoyed it. However, I started burning myself out with many hours of studying each day, and I started taking breaks quite regularly. And when studying a language, taking breaks of like multiple days, that's not a good thing. Yeah, this was kind of bad, as I could see my progress going down rather quickly, and the things I previously learned were slipping out of my head, like at a very fast rate. My fourth year of studying Japanese was not much better, with many breaks, and even though I was about to move to Japan, I still hit an all-time low with my motivation to study Japanese. I could not get myself to study for more than 30 minutes a day, and I was taking more breaks. Yeah, it was not a good period. And even though some days I would feel like I regained my motivation and I could study for a long time, so I would study for a couple of hours again, and that was most of the time followed by a couple of days of doing almost nothing because I burnt myself out again. And then I finally moved to Japan in 2020, and I had my motivation again to study Japanese, and I hit around 1 hour each day. But that only lasted for 4 or 5 months, and then I completely stopped studying until last December. 1 month before taking the JLPT N3 exam, I started studying again until after the test. The next day after the test, my studying went back to 0 hours a day. I know this was going to be a summary of my Japanese studying time, but yeah, even the summary is quite long, I think. Looking back at how I studied Japanese, it was only a matter of time before I would finally get burned out, as I was studying way too many hours, way too intensively, and way too much. Like, I was really overexerting myself. Looking back at it now, I realize that I should have been limiting myself a little bit more to like minimum 30 minutes a day to maximum 2 to 3 hours a day. Yeah, I should have done that. And I'm finally back to studying Japanese daily again now. I'm at a 22-day streak, and I've been taking it slow, like really slow. I forgot so much because of not having studied properly in the past couple of years. So yeah, yes, I can have basic conversations and I can do almost anything with my Japanese at this point, but that does not mean that my Japanese is perfect in any way, or that my Japanese is correct at all, nor am I fluent, nor do I know enough vocab to easily understand everybody. And how will I prepare for the JLPT N2? Well, I actually reset my Duolingo to start from scratch again. I did this for a couple of reasons. First of all, I like the streak system, like I like having some kind of number because it gives me more motivation to make that number go up every single day. And I really need to review everything again from the beginning because I forgot quite a lot. Also, I've heard that the Japanese course on Duolingo got some pretty good updates. In the beginning it was quite terrible. Right now I still find quite a few bugs and problems with the course, but overall I'm enjoying using Duolingo. I'm also using Lingodare in the meantime, and another reason why I'm using both Lingodare and Duolingo is so I could make a review of them after completing the entire courses. And besides Lingodare and Duolingo, I'm also using Anki again. So yay, welcome back Anki, because I haven't used that one in a long time. At this moment I'm going through the core 6K deck. I'm kind of flying through it right now because most of the words I already know. Luckily, if I didn't know most of the words, then I have a serious problem. And then there's also Human Japanese, which I'm doing right now. I'm only reading one article a day. It's very simple, and it's probably not improving my Japanese at all. But it's kind of nice to have this kind of like routine going on. And now to go back to the beginning of this video, these things won't help me that much in achieving my JLPT N2 level. But I'm going at a steady pace, so I should be finished with all the N2 materials by the end of September, maybe October, if everything keeps going well. Again, I'm taking it very slow right now. I'm taking a very slow approach because it is needed. Starting from zero again was exactly what I needed to do for multiple reasons. So some people may be wondering, like, why are you studying again from zero? Like, you're conversational in Japanese, why would you start from zero again? And it is basically because I took way too long of a break and reviewing is necessary. I always say that studying a language is 80% reviewing, 5% learning new things, and 15% actually using the language. And another big reason why I start from zero is to keep my motivation high. It's quite important to keep your motivation high, especially when you're studying a language. Right now it's going quite easy for me. I got a study routine right now, and studying is slowly increasing in difficulty. But another reason why I'm starting from zero again, going through all these materials which I used to use in the beginning of studying Japanese, feels so nostalgic. I really feel nostalgic learning some of the Japanese things that I'm doing right now. It helps my motivation a lot. Like, it really makes me remember my room back in Belgium, where I would sit in front of the window every morning with a hot cup of chocolate milk, my cornflakes, and doing Anki for like 30 minutes to an hour. Like, it feels so great to finally be enjoying studying Japanese again, after having felt kind of like unmotivated for such a long time. But then there's also the question that some of you may ask, like, once you get burnt out again because you're starting from zero and you're trying to achieve N2 by the end of this year. So yeah, that's kind of a big challenge. And yeah, it's kind of a fair point to be asking me if I won't get burnt out again, I guess. But I'm also starting to, I started tracking my studying time through Notion with a database which I made real quickly. And it's really helping me to see how much time I'm investing in actually doing things. Like, I'm not only tracking my time of studying Japanese, but I'm also tracking my time of making YouTube videos, by example. Because I really should take in mind to take enough breaks each day. Right now I can very easily see if I'm starting to study too much and that I should call it for the day or not. But overall, to kind of start closing this video, I feel a lot more relaxed, I feel a lot more better in general. And the main advice that I want to share from my experience in studying Japanese and life in general is take your time, learn to know your limits, and remember that nothing really is something important in life. So I hope you find this video somewhat motivating or interesting in some way, and I'll see you all in my next video. So thank you all for watching and bye bye. Good luck managing your life. Also, good luck for the people going for the JLPT test next December. Bye bye.